Hello everyone, just out getting my daily walk in and thought I'd give you all a little update on what's happening in the hospitals. As of right now, everything is still fairly doable. We are still prepping more COVID units. I think we've got like 5 or 6 units that are now directly COVID units. They're not full. Our numbers have kind of remained consistent, but as we all know, Georgia's peak isn't for another week and a half or 2 weeks. So we'll see how well prepared we really are. We're bringing in nurses from Children's Hospital just in case we have an influx or surge of patients, so that we can maintain good patient to nurse ratios. I've been training on the ICU units, which was not something I was expecting to do, but it's been pretty cool. Basically, the idea is that a lot of the ICU nurses will have to go to the COVID ICUs. They'll be floated over there once those become full, and the regular ICU nurses are going to need to take more patients. So they are going to have us med-surg nurses up on the floor doing the care that we're legally allowed to do, while the ICU nurses do the ICU care. But that being said, we were trained on ventilators. We're not allowed to touch ventilators or certain drips, but we can do heparin drips, insulin drips, basic assessments, basic meds, help with turning and cleaning and all of that good stuff. So I spent 2 shifts up there last weekend. It was intense and it was really, really cool. You know, if there's anything cool to come of that, it's of this whole situation. It was thinking like, oh, ICU might not be so bad. That might be something I look into after all of this. We'll see. Then I spent last night or Wednesday night, that's the problem, I don't know. I'm working so many odd shifts and going places I've never been before. It's interesting, but my days get tangled up. I spent one day this week on the COVID unit, and that was probably the saddest day so far. Just admitting more patients that need ICU immediately, so they come to our floor only if they're positive, but their oxygen levels can go from on 2 liters of a nasal cannula to within an hour needing 15 liters on a high flow, and then they have to go. So we called a code, had a patient that needed that oxygen level. His respirations just shot up out of nowhere. Then the question was, do we intubate at the bedside to make it safer to transport him to the ICU? He requested to talk to his wife before we did that. And so he called her on his cell phone and just, it was sad conversation. Just, telling her that he loved her. He might not speak to her again. I don't know what happened. We ended up not intubating him at the bedside. We did send him to the ICU. So just seeing more conversations like that, it's different than taking care of cancer patients that are dying at the end of their diagnosis or their life, is 60, 70 years old. They've been fighting this for years. This kind of death is a sudden, you weren't expecting it, which is how death should be for all of us. We don't expect it yet. It's going to happen, but it's interesting as a nurse being in that situation and caring for those patients. I think I'm back on the COVID unit tomorrow night, and then after that, I have no idea. So it's been very interesting for me. I'm definitely a schedule routine person, and this has definitely thrown me way out of that. But I'm enduring so far, and we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. Take care.